We live in an electronic age. Human consumption of electronic devices has grown exponentially since the invention of the personal computer in 1975. In order to meet consumer demands, electronic companies continually increase their output, shipping over 2 billion electronic devices in 2015 alone. Electronics are great and they help us do many things, such as communicate, take photos, check social media, and use the internet. However, when these products go out of style or they break, we quickly dispose of them to buy a new model. Countries then have to dispose of the mountains of old electronics, overwhelming their resources to take care of these issues. Some examples of electronic waste that ends up in the trash include things such as old computers, broken televisions, cracked phones, and out-of-date printers. Highly industrialized countries such as the US and France then find it easier and cheaper to send their electronic refuse or e-waste to developing countries overseas. These countries do not generate nearly the same volume of e-waste that the US has and could use the income the exporting countries would provide. E-waste is then sent to countries around the world such as China, India, Pakistan, and Ghana, to name a few. In these countries, waste is dumped into landfills. Over time, these landfills fill with decaying e-waste, contaminating the land around it. And electronics do not last forever and they soon begin to break down. After filling landfills, toxic components of electronics leach into the ground and contaminate groundwater. Workers inhale hazardous gases from burning materials, and harmful toxins are released into the air. Hazardous components of electronics include things such as lead, mercury, and beryllium that can adversely affect people that come into contact with them, demonstrating signs of neurological, digestive, and bone issues, for example. However, this industry is profitable and workers can earn a higher salary here than other jobs that surround them. They reuse materials such as copper to fashion into objects that can be resold to developed consumer countries, such as the rings fashioned from trash as shown. This is the life cycle of your electronics. We generate enormous amounts of waste that ends up in landfills in developing countries, contaminating the soil. In the end, people are hurt and become ill, and there is significant environmental degradation. What has the international community done to combat this perpetual cycle of environmental deterioration? The Basel Convention. Signed in 1989, the convention has so far been ratified by 184 countries plus the European Union, making it one of the most universally signed international agreements. Under the Basel Convention, parties agree to implement domestic legislation that reduces waste production to be shipped overseas, promotes the environmentally sound management of hazardous waste, and restricts the transboundary movement of such waste from developed to less developed countries. Essentially, the convention regulates the transboundary trade of hazardous materials, which in 2002 began to include e-waste. Even though the convention has done a lot to improve the environmental health of the world, hazardous waste is still being sent to developing countries at increasing rates. So what can we do to stop this pollution ourselves? Here are a few things. If you break your electronics, make sure to recycle them with companies such as eSteward or Certified Recycling. Also, extend the life of your electronics by taking them to be repaired. Or, donate them. Also, contact your congressional representative to urge him to help create environmentally friendly waste legislation. The environmental impact of e-waste is significant. In order to ensure the future of our world, we must take action now. International legislation alone is not enough. We, the consumers, must do our part, and if we remain environmentally conscious and dispose of our electronics responsibly, then we can perhaps decrease global e-waste and create a greener world.